I'm Rowena Hale, 33 years old, the youngest daughter of the Hale family, the kind of family people in Minneapolis whisper about when they talk business, money, and power. Hale Tech was built on our last name, our reputation, and the quiet assumption that leadership would always belong to the firstborn son, not the daughter who preferred data models to gala dinners. My brother Beckett was groomed to inherit the spotlight. I was expected to stay useful, invisible, grateful. For most of my life, I felt like a guest in my own family, trusted to fix problems in the dark, but never invited to stand in the light. That didn't change even after I saved the company from collapse, rewired its entire nervous system, and kept thousands of jobs alive. What changed everything was the moment my mother looked me in the eye, handed the credit to my brother, and taught me exactly how disposable she thought I was. She believed that would be the end of it. She was wrong. They told me to wear navy. Not black, Rowena. It's not a funeral, Clarissa said, barely glancing at me as she fastened her diamond clasp. Her voice was sharp, tight. Like every word had a PR department attached. The Hale ballroom was staged for celebration. Velvet drapes, gold banners, rows of executives shoulder to shoulder, glasses raised in premature tribute. From the second I stepped inside, something was off. Too polished, too choreographed. I caught Beckett near the stage, one hand tucked in his jacket pocket, the other casually ruffling his perfect hair. He laughed too loudly at something the CFO said. Champagne flute in hand, suit tailored too well for someone who'd only been back in Minneapolis for 6 months. He hadn't been here during the dark months, when payroll nearly defaulted, when our largest supplier threatened breach, when I ran ops through a skeleton team and 14-hour shifts, fighting to stitch the company back together with my own code. But here he was, grinning like he'd built the empire himself. The lights dimmed. Clarissa took the stage. Tonight, we celebrate a rebirth, she began. Her voice echoed with that old iron conviction, the kind that made investors obey and enemies hesitate. We faced turbulence. We stared down decline. And we rose, thanks to a bold, modernized system, a total operational transformation. My heart lifted. For one stupid second, I thought she might actually say my name. Instead, I'm proud to announce that Beckett Hale will assume the role of Chief Operations Officer, effective immediately. Applause exploded. My ears rang, not from the sound, from the silence in my chest. Then came the slide. My system, my architecture, my diagrams, same structure, same color codes, same back-end flow, different logo, BH core engine. You're great with numbers, Ro, Beckett said into the mic, glancing at me. But this is about vision. Some people clapped harder. Some just smiled politely. No one looked at me. I didn't move, didn't breathe, didn't speak. Clarissa stepped forward, handed Beckett a plaque. And then, because of course, she turned to me. Rowena has been invaluable during this journey. Take some well-earned rest, dear. She reached into her clutch and pulled out a small envelope. Spa gift card. $100. Handed to me like a severance package for relevance. Behind me, cameras flashed. Beckett waved. I stood in the crowd like a ghost at my own funeral. One of the board members whispered to the next, "Wasn't she the one behind the integration?" The other replied, "Must have been a team effort." My hands were cold. My face was still. And inside, a system I built started counting backward. If they're stealing my system, they better pray I don't take it back. The valet handed me my keys like I was still the same Rowena Hale who walked in an hour ago. Smile. Nod. Play along. I slid into the driver's seat. Door shut, silence. No music. No heater. The leather felt cold against my spine. I didn't drive home. I drove to the office on Franklin Avenue, the one no one in my family had ever bothered to visit. My real office. Frost glazed the glass as I stepped inside. The lights hummed awake, motion censored like always. Dell Core's dashboard was already glowing on the main screen. Data feeds, facility queues, live shipments, sensor readouts. Everything the company depended on pulsing in real time. Still breathing, because I let it. I dropped my coat. Typed fast. Admin override. System license status, active. Support contract, 21 days remaining. Ownership, Hail Data Systems. Operational control, R, Hail. Then I opened the control panel no one else knew existed. They copied my system, renamed it, slapped Beckett's name across a product he couldn't spell. But they forgot one thing: you can steal a mirror, not the reflection. On screen, initiate restricted mode. 24-hour countdown. Y. Confirm? Y. A soft tone echoed, like a time bomb politely clearing its throat. The system would keep running until 9 a.m. tomorrow. After that, read only. No live updates. No new integrations. No way back unless they came through me. I leaned back in my chair. The storm outside thickened. Freezing rain. Streets empty. I dialed Naomi. She picked up in 2 rings. Tell me you're not still at the gala. I walked out after the gift card. Of course you did. I need a contract pull. I'm listening. Scan through the HailTech internal file server. Look for anything uploaded in the past week labeled under Beckett or Core Access. I think they forged a transfer. Silence. Then you think. No, I said. I know. Cut. Hours later, I sat at the bar of an all-night diner, steam rising off black coffee. My laptop open beside me, Naomi on the other end of a secure call. You're right, she said. They filed an amended contract 3 days ago. It's a fake. How sloppy? Sloppy enough that they used a scanned signature with compression lines. Not even embedded metadata. Definitely not time-stamped. It won't hold in court. Clarissa signed it. Her name is on it. And Beckett. No signature. I breathed in, the kind of slow, focused breath you take before slicing through something soft but expensive. People think control is about visibility, I said. It's not. Control is what happens when no one else knows what they're looking at. Naomi said nothing for a beat. Then, you're gonna flip the switch, aren't you? Tomorrow morning. She whistled low. They won't see it coming. That's the point. 1:42 a.m. I parked 2 blocks from HailTech HQ. Snow falling hard now, icy grains stinging my face. I moved fast across the concrete, hood up, gloves on, keycard in hand. Not a soul in the lobby. Elevator opened with a chime too bright for the hour. I took it to the 17th floor. Finance and operations. Clarissa's office loomed like a throne room. Mahogany, marble, cold. Beckett's temporary office, smaller but obnoxiously modern, was across the hall. The glass wall still covered in post-its and fake brainstorming. I found what I was looking for in a shared file cache on an unlocked desktop. Beckett had uploaded a slide deck marked BHC version 3.1. I opened it. Every flowchart, every logic thread, every metric visualization, ripped from my original, but butchered, color mismatched, connectors broken, no versioning, just flashy graphics over bones they didn't understand. The system is nothing without the spine. Cut. 3:13 a.m. Naomi texted. Found something else. A memo flagged internal. Wes Marlowe's name. Sent to your mom last week. Subject line. Reallocation draft proposal. Reallocation of what? I replied. Her answer came 20 seconds later. Control rights, system oversight, and intellectual property. I stared at the screen. They weren't just stealing the credit. They were trying to erase me. That wasn't ambition. That was war. And they just fired the first shot. Once it hits 9 a.m. tomorrow, the entire company goes blind. 7:59 a.m. My finger hovered over the mug's handle, but I didn't drink. The coffee had gone cold hours ago. The screen in front of me flickered in soft blue pulses. Heartbeat of a giant about to flatline. I leaned forward. 8:58. Naomi's message pinged. Clarissa's in the West Wing. Beckett's prepping some PR release. No clue what's coming. I didn't reply. 8:59. I pressed my palm to the biometric pad. System status. Transition in progress. Live feed. Suspended. User dashboard. Historical mode only. 9 o'clock. Silence. Then chaos. 3 minutes later, the first call hit Naomi. Logistics board just went dark. Another. Shipment tracker froze. It's not syncing. Then finance. Then warehousing. Then partner hospitals. Inside Hailteca's main ops floor, it spread like virus in the bloodstream. Systems were on, but not moving. Everything was still. Silent. Past tense. Just like that, the company went blind. I stepped into the building at 9:06. Security barely glanced up. Elevator chimed open like it had been waiting. I took it to the 20th floor. Operations war room. Inside, voices rising, hands flailing, someone yelling about API failure. The CTO was drenched in flop sweat. A tablet flew across the table. Nobody looked composed. Beckett turned when he saw me. You, what the hell did you do? I didn't answer him. I turned to Clarissa. You filed a false contract using a forged signature and attempted to shift ownership of a proprietary platform to someone without credentials. That's not just unethical. That's illegal. Clarissa narrowed her eyes. You shut down the system? No, I said calmly. The system shut you out. Beckett lunged forward, face red. You're sabotaging your own family. This system doesn't belong to the family, I cut in. It belongs to Hale Data Systems, which, last time I checked, has a licensing contract tied directly to my name, my legal entity, and my operational oversight. Clarissa's voice dropped low. We'll sue. Try it. The platform is hosted on a distributed blockchain layer. Any attempt to forcibly access, clone, or override triggers automated reporting to my legal team and the Department of Trade. She flinched. I stepped closer. There's a reason I didn't build this under your roof. You don't reward competence. You absorb it, then erase it. The lights above flickered slightly. I caught the CFO watching from the corner. Quiet. Taking notes. Cut. 10:24 a.m. Private conference room. No windows. Cold LED lights overhead. The kind of room designed to feel like judgment. I laid out the hard copy of the original contract. Naomi beside me. Clarissa across. Beckett pacing like a caged thing. The general counsel sat rigid. Expression unreadable. You modified an IP clause without countersignature, Naomi said. That's a breach. Clarissa's jaw flexed. We believed operational control had shifted. Belief doesn't change paper. Naomi tapped the page. And here, Clause 7.3.2. Material alteration without mutual consent initiates restricted mode. Clarissa stayed silent. Beckett muttered, We can just rebuild the damn thing. I laughed. Everyone turned. You don't even know where the core data flows are sourced, I said. You think it's just dashboards and numbers? Try reconciling 4.2 million live data points across 23 facilities without triggering cascading failures. He looked away. It's just code, he whispered. No, I said. It's architecture. And you built a stage prop on top of it, thinking no one would check the foundation. Cut. 1:13 p.m. Boardroom. Chairs full. Faces strained. Phones buzzing nonstop. The lead investor called in. Her voice came through the speaker, brittle and sharp. Do we have functionality or not? Clarissa hesitated. I didn't. You'll have full operations restored within the hour, pending execution of a new agreement. She snapped. What kind of agreement? I slid the proposal forward. Full licensing renewal under market value reassessment. Uncontested operational control under Hale Data Systems. Written acknowledgement of system dependency and ownership. Immediate internal retraction of false attribution. You're blackmailing us, Beckett growled. No, I said. I'm delivering clarity. That's what good systems do. Clarissa stared at the paper. Didn't move. We'll think about it. You have until 5 p.m. She raised an eyebrow. Or what? I stood. This isn't a malfunction. It's a message. By 3:47 p.m., Clarissa hadn't signed the agreement. No calls. No reply. Just silence so thick it scraped. I watched the stock tickers bleed red on 3 monitors. Hale Tech wasn't crashing, but it was limping, and everyone watching could smell the limp. In my inbox, an anonymous tip. Subject line, asset transfer off books. No body, just an attachment. Encrypted PDF. Naomi cracked it in 10 minutes. Her fingers barely paused as she murmured, They're not trying to take Hale Data Row. They're trying to bury it. The document outlined a pending transfer. Operational tech IP to a shell entity registered in Delaware. The name? Ferris and Quaid Solutions, LLC. No employees. No website. But a registered address that matched the firm Beckett briefly consulted for in 2021. And listed under secondary authorization? Wes Marlowe, the family attorney. Clarissa's longtime fixer. Beckett's college roommate. I stood up so fast the chair spun. This isn't just about cutting me out, I said. They're laundering the infrastructure, stripping it, then flipping it into private control. She's selling the spine, Naomi whispered. Cut. 5:02 p.m. I walked back into Hale Tech's executive floor. Alarms low, tension loud. Clarissa was in the corner suite. Door cracked. I didn't knock. She looked up from her tablet, completely composed. Is this how you think power works? I asked. You slice it into pieces and pass it around like caviar. She didn't blink. You should have played your role. Quiet. Supportive. That's what this family needed. No, I said. You needed a puppet. And I don't come with strings. She stood. Her face was sharper in daylight. Years of curated elegance hardening into threat. You think you're the first person to walk into this company with innovation, she said. You think code makes you irreplaceable. No, I said, but proof of fraud does. I dropped the file on her desk. She didn't open it, but I watched her eyes. The flicker, the flash. You were going to sign everything over to Ferris and Quaid. Strip the IP. Kill the system, and sell the husk with Beckett's name on it. She didn't deny it. She only said, You don't understand the scale. I understand this, I said. You tried to burn the bridge while I was still standing on it. She walked around her desk slowly, like a wolf circling prey. You always wanted credit, Rowena. You thought being clever gave you leverage. It did. You're not built for the fallout. That's what everyone says, I murmured. Right before they trip on the wire I left behind. She stopped, and then said quietly, You should be careful who you trust. Cut. 6:11 p.m. Naomi's voice crackled over the phone. Rowena, you're not going to like this. Say it. There's another clause. Hidden. Buried in a backdated amendment you didn't sign. Dated 6 months ago. But it uses a timestamp that only came into effect 2 months ago. It's forged, but convincing. What does it say? If Hale Data Systems experiences a breach of service or is subject to legal claim, ownership defaults back to Hale Tech under emergency provisions. They built a trap, I said flatly. No, they built a bomb, and it only works if you go public. which meant my legal hammer. Gone. If I took them down through official channels, they'd detonate the clause, paint me as the threat, and reclaim everything. It was never about erasing me. It was about baiting me into pulling the trigger. Cut. 7:30, 2 p.m. I drove fast. Snow hit the windshield in slashes. Night falling. The roads empty. Clarissa wasn't trying to survive Hail Tech's collapse. She was trying to engineer it. Tank the infrastructure. Blame me. Claim ownership in the fire. And Beckett? He wasn't just the face. He was the pawn. Because the real power? It was always moving behind closed doors. I hit the brakes. Swerved. Parked behind an unlit building outside the city limits. The address from the PDF. Ferris and Quaid. One window. A single light. Inside, shadows moving. 2 men. 1 woman. And a briefcase being locked inside a safe. I took a photo. Sent it to Naomi. Tag this IP. I think we just found the kill switch. And as I backed away, a phone buzzed in the dark seat beside me. Not mine. Beckett's, number flashing on the screen. He'd left it in my car yesterday. I let it ring, then watched the message flash. She knows. Contingency. They weren't just selling me out. They were watching me walk into the fire. The hospital call came at 6:47 a.m. System is still dead. Doctors can't access patient histories. Surgery's on hold. The voice was flat. Not panic. Just fact. I opened my eyes. No coffee. No hesitation. Only the countdown ticking. We had 4 hours. My phone buzzed again, Beckett. Not a call. A text. We need a meeting. Now. I didn't reply. Instead, I gathered files. Screen after screen of error logs, network traces, legal headers. Facts. Bulletproof. Naomi appeared beside me. Clarissa's lawyer just called, she said. They're desperate. Desperate doesn't mean viable, I muttered. I could feel it. Eyes on me. Always eyes. Someone was watching. Not just the company. Someone bigger. I tightened my coat. Packed a briefcase. 8:03 a.m. Hail Tech HQ. Glass, so clean it reflected truth back at you. I walked through the front doors and into a swarm. Reporters. Phones. Screens streaming outage stats. Blackout at Hail Tech, one said. IP war, another parroted. Family feud, scrolled a cheer-in like a curse. I didn't look at them. I went to the boardroom. Clarissa was there. Beckett, too, banging his thumb on the table. Back again, he sneered. I didn't flinch. We need a resolution, I said. Clarissa didn't look me in the eye. Once your system is restored, she said, we'll finalize terms. Not good enough. I laid my files down. These prove the Ferris and Quaid transfer was illegal. Concealed, undisclosed, unapproved. Beckett scoffed. It's just paperwork. According to you, I said, paperwork is a suggestion. They stared. Tension made air electric. I could taste it like copper and rain. 8:27 a.m. Suddenly locked doors. All exits sealed. Security guards fanned out. Out of the way, one said. I didn't budge. Camera lights flickered. Not the press. Internal feed cameras. Someone wanted this moment captured. I stepped back. Something wasn't right. A click. A metallic whisper. Lock disengaged. Beckett's face went white. Clarissa blinked. Security is not needed, a voice said from behind us. We turned. Naomi stood in the doorway. She wasn't alone. A man in a crisp suit, earbuds. Face unreadable. He held up a badge. FBI. That one word hit like a bullet. Beckett sputtered. Clarissa's face went gray. Agent crossed to the table. You're all officially under investigation for financial fraud and obstruction of critical infrastructure, he said. Silence. Then Beckett exploded. This is sabotage. From whom? Asked the agent. Clarissa opened her mouth, but Naomi cut in, calm and cutting. From within. The room froze. The agent raised an eyebrow. Explain. She laid it out. Ferris and Quaid was a shell. Connections to Marlowe. Beckett's consultancy. Clarissa's financial back channels. False amendments. Forged timestamps. An attempted hostile transfer of IP. References to blockchain clauses and emergency defaults. The agent's pen tapped. Slow. Deliberate. Interesting, he said. Beckett started to speak. The agent didn't let him. We'll need all contracts, licensing logs, versions, timestamps, emails, access logs, every deletion, every override. Clarissa's hands trembled. Beckett looked like he'd lost his shadow. All eyes shifted to me. I didn't flinch. I only thought, truth isn't loud. It's just unforgiving. They took Clarissa to a side room. Beckett was escorted to make a statement. I was left alone with the agent. He didn't look like he enjoyed it, but he respected it. I'll need your cooperation, he said. I nodded. Full disclosure, he said. I nodded again. Chronological order of events. I began. It poured out of me like rain on hot pavement, sharp, clean, unstoppable. Every file, every code commit, every unauthorized scan. When I finished, the agent exhaled. So, he said, you triggered the restricted mode? I didn't look away. Yes. He paused, looked at me like he was seeing flames in a still photo. You knew the consequences. I knew the truth was worth the breach, I said. Sometimes a system needs a controlled shutdown to reveal its poison. The agent walked away. I watched him go, then looked back at the silent screens. No data flowing, just history. Frozen. I thought about a phrase I once heard. When you expose the roots, the tree falls in silence. This was that moment. Heavy, quiet, unavoidable. I walked out of the boardroom. The press was still there. I didn't speak. Not yet. Not until the system came back up. Not until I knew who was watching me. And why. The storm wasn't over. It was only getting louder. The building went quiet at 6:02 p.m. Not peaceful. Not calm. The kind of quiet that comes after impact when everyone is checking to see what's still standing. I stood alone in the operations room, watching Delcor breathe again. Green indicators rolled across the screens like a slow exhale. Data syncing. Shipments recalculating. Hospital dashboards coming back online. Life resumed, because the truth had been acknowledged. Clarissa signed at 5:47. No speech. No fight left. Just her name, shaking slightly, at the bottom of a document that finally said what had always been true. Hale Tech did not own the system. It depended on it. She didn't look at me when she handed the pen back. You could have destroyed us, she said. I didn't come here to destroy anything, I replied. I came here to stop you from doing it quietly. She nodded once. Small. Controlled. The woman who built an empire learning. Too late that empires collapse from the inside. Beckett never came back to the room. His lawyer did. Short conversation. Lowered voice. Averted eyes. By nightfall, his badge access was revoked. His title suspended pending investigation. The headlines shifted from family feud to federal inquiry. Power doesn't vanish loudly. It just stops answering your calls. Naomi met me in the hallway as the last reporters were escorted out. You okay? She asked. I thought about it. About the nights sleeping under my desk. About the gala lights and the $100 gift card. About my mother choosing optics over truth. About my brother confusing inheritance with competence. I'm intact, I said. That's enough. She smiled. Tired. Real. People think victory feels like fire, she said, but it's more like quiet. I nodded. Fire burns fast. Quiet lasts. At 7:30, I walked out of Hail Tech for the last time as an employee. The snow had stopped. Minneapolis glowed under streetlights, sharp and clean. My reflection stared back at me in the glass, older than 33, lighter than I'd ever been. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I answered. Rowena Hale, a voice said. Male. Calm. Measured. We've been observing your work. What you built. How you protected it. I didn't speak. When systems fail, he continued, we look for the person who understands why. We'd like to talk. I'm listening, I said. He named a company. Global. Quiet. Too big to advertise. I smiled. Because leverage doesn't shout. It waits. Later that night, in my office on Franklin Avenue, I framed the spa gift card. Not as a joke. As a reminder. It hung above my desk, right next to the first architectural sketch of Delcor, drawn on a napkin during a 2 a.m. panic call, long before anyone believed in it. People mistake value for approval. They confuse silence with weakness. They think credit is ownership. It isn't. Ownership is what remains when the lights go out. And if there's one thing this taught me, it's this. Your worth is not decided by who praises you on a stage. It's decided by what stops working when you walk away. They gave the credit to my brother. I gave them a lesson they won't forget.